American ba ako? Ganun din ba yung magiging trato mo sa akin, di ba? You can say no, di ba? Para bang na-off ba ako? Hindi ko alam kung paano ako magre-respond. So, hindi agad ako nakasalita. Pero may kababalik lang namin galing sa supposedly workshop ng mga bata. Kakain muna kami, magpapahinga. Plano ko talaga today is maglinis sa taas dahil I'm trying to make more space, getting ready para sa paglabas ng aming third baby. So, yan ang gagawin ko mamaya. Ipapakita ko sa inyo yung pagre-reorganize ko ng mga reading classes na aking binibenta. Pero ngayon, may i-share lang ako. Maglalabas lang ako ng sama ng loob kanina kasi paano ko ba ito umpisahan? Feeling ko na discriminate ako, pero hindi ako sure. Pero I want to share to you the story habang fresh pa sa isip at puso ko. So, yung mga anak ko, pumupunta sila sa wood workshop every month. Twice a month yan. Dalawang hardware company dito sa Amerika. Nagbibigay sila ng free kids workshop once a month. So, pinupuntahan namin dalawa, kaya parang twice a month yung punta namin. And we're doing this for almost 2 years. So, bawat project na ginagawa nila, meron silang nakukuhang badge. Ito yung isa. Yung isang apron, nasaan na ba? Yung isa, parang 1 year pa lang kami doon pumupunta. So, para makapag-join ka doon sa kids workshop na yun, usually we have to register. So, nagre-register ako every month. So, ngayong katatapos ng ng workshop na to, magre-register na ako para sa next month nila. So, ayun yung routine. Kahapon, tinatanong ni Lucas, sabi ko kasi, pupunta tayo sa wood workshop bukas, ganyan. Sabi niya, anong project natin? Sabi ko, I don't know, I forgot. So, tinignan ko yung mga email ko, hinanap ko yung registration, tapos hindi ko makita. So, baka nakalimutan ko mag-register. Alam mo yun, possible naman kasi na nakalimutan ko talaga yung mag-register. Pero pumunta pa din kami kanina kasi I know for a fact na pwede namang makakuha pa din ng project kahit na hindi nag-register. Marami akong friends na nirecommend before na pumunta sila kahit hindi sila registered. Kasi dati pinopost ko yung mga project, yung mga anak ko, binivideo ko sila, tapos pinopost ko yan sa personal Facebook ko. Tapos may mga nagtatanong, uy, ang ganda naman ang workshop ng anak mo, saan yan, ganyan. Tapos sabihin ko, dito, sa ganitong store, eto, mag-register kayo, sisend ko pa yung link. Marami sa kanila na pumunta kahit hindi sila naka-register kasi parang last minute, nakita lang nila sa story ko or sa Facebook story ko, tapos pumunta na din sila. Parang ganon. And I am sure of that. So, pumunta kami kanina, in-approach ko itong matandang babae. Sabi ko, hi, how are you? I'm not sure if we registered this month, but I hope you have extra for my kids. Ganyan. Ang ganda ng approach ko. Tinignan niya lang ako, tapos yung mga bata na parang antaray. Parang antaray ng dating sa well, if you don't register, ganyan siya. Tapos sabi ko, para bang na-off ba ako? Hindi ko alam kung paano ako magre-respond. So, hindi agad ako nakasalita, pero may nag-approach sa kanya na co-workmate niya, tapos nagchikahan sila, parang lumayo siya sa akin ng konti. Nagchikahan sila about sa work niya. Siguro mga 2 to 3 minutes. So ako nakatayo lang doon, kami ng mga bata. Imagine me, ang laki-laki ng tiyan ko, tapos may dalawa akong maliit na batang hawak kaliwat kanan, di ba? So, usap sila, tapos pagkatapos nila mag-usap, nagkatinginan ulit kami. So sabi ko, I hope you have extra for my kids. Ganyan pa yung, as in ganun yung pagkasabi ko, well, I hope you have extra for my kids. Tapos sabi niya, well, if you didn't register, I will not know if I have extra until the end, which is 1 o'clock. Ganyan siya. Dito tumingin ako sa orasan, 11 pa lang. So, 2 oras kami maghihintay. Pag angat ng ulo ko na ganun naman, nakatalikod na siya, tinalikuran na niya ako. Tapos, pumunta na siya dun sa ibang bata na currently gumagawa ng project. Tapos, pinipicturean niya yung ibang batang gumagawa ng workshop. Feeling ko part ng job niya yun. So parang ako, parang di ko alam ano ba, so hindi mo ko bibigyan ng kit, parang gano'n. So parang confused ako. Hindi ko alam paano mag-react, kumbaga parang gano'n. Tapos, So, hindi ko rin alam ano sasabihin ko sa mga anak ko kasi parang, syempre, sanay na din sila na pumupunta kami doon tapos gagawa kami ng workshop, ng project, di ba? So, sabi ko na lang, oh wait, nilibang ko sila kunyari. Sabi ko, wait, tignan nyo, may mga Halloween display kasi, store kasi yun eh. So, meron sila mga binibenta ng mga Halloween display. Habang naglilibang yung mga bata, ako talaga yung utak ko parang, ano nangyari? Sabi ko, ano yun? Ba't parang galit siya sa akin? Is she having a bad day? Parang ganun pa yung naisip ko. Tapos lumingon ulit ako sa kanya. Mukha naman siyang masaya kasi nagpipicture siya. Tapos parang sabi niya pa doon sa ibang bata, oh, you're so cute. Look, let's take a picture. Ganun pa siya. So parang, I don't think she's having a bad day. Diba? So ako naman, well, she already said no. Alam nga naman bumalik pa ako doon, di ba? Well, she didn't exactly say no, but alam niyo na, ganun nga yung nangyari. So nag-drive na kami. Habang nagde-drive kami pabalik, naisip ko, sa totoo lang, ang una ko naramdaman is parang racist. Ayun yung una ko naisip. Na parang kung halimbawa American na yung typical black or white na American ba ako, ganun din ba yung magiging trato mo sa akin, di ba? You can say no, di ba? It's okay. You can tell me. Pero I think it's about how you say it. At the same time, ayokong i-entertain yung idea na racist siya. Kasi ayoko nung parang automatic na feeling ko racist siya sa akin. Baka hindi naman. Baka naman talagang yun yung policy nila. Pero I'm pretty sure it's not the policy. Kasi nga, in our experience of almost 2 years ng pag-attend niyan, I know many friends na pumupunta doon nang hindi naka-register. And most of them are Americans. Meron lang isang Filipino na may anak din siya na pumunta sila doon, hindi sila nag-register. Sabi niya, meron lang daw silang parang pinil-upan na papel, tapos binigyan naman sila. Ayokong sabihin na racist. Kasi parang malaking allegation yun eh. Pag sinabi mong sa tao na racist nila, diba? So sabi ko, baka naman policy talaga na nila yun. Baka bagong policy nila yun. So, ginawa ko, pumunta ako dun sa ibang branch. At binigyan nila kami. So, nakakuha kami dun sa ibang branch. So, pwede. Diba? Pwede kung gusto nila. So, I don't know really what to think. I'm just telling you na ito yung na-feel ko. Pero, possible naman na hindi racist yung matandang babae. Pero, I'm sure she's not having a bad day. Talagang, I just feel very disrespected. Ayun talaga. Sa Amerika, malaking issue ang racism. And a lot of times, a lot of people becomes more defensive. Dati nung nagtiteach pa lang ako na parang, halimbawa, napagalitan ko yung bata, sasabihin niya, oh, kaya mo ako pinapagalitan kasi ganito yung kulay ko. Or ganito, yung parang, alam niyo na, no, that it has nothing to do with the color of your skin or your race, diba? It's your attitude or it's your performance in the class or you're disrespecting me, yung mga ganyan issue. So parang ako, bakit niya iniisip na racist ako? Parang ganun. So ako, ganun din ako sa ibang tao. Pagka nakaka-feel ako na dinidisrespect ako, hindi ako automatic na nag-iisip na racist sila towards me. Now, if you're also Filipino in America, what do you think? What do you think? Do you also feel that way? I'm sure marami sa atin nakaramdam na ng ganyan. Pero siguro yung worst na experience ko dito sa US is dati, nagpa-dentista ako. Tapos parang narinig ko yung isang babae. Dental hygienist ata, yung tagalinis. Hindi siya talaga dentista. Tapos nag-approach siya dun sa ka-work niya. Tapos sabi niya, oh my God, did you speak English? Ganon. Tapos sabi nung isa, yeah. So parang huy, wag kang maganyang salita kasi nag-i-English siya. Parang gano'n. So dahil sa itsura ko, nasumunan na, hindi ako marunong mag-English. Tapos I mean, it's okay. It's okay to say that na, did she speak English? You know, like, it happened twice pala sa hospital din nung nanganak ako kay Andrea kay Lucas. Basta parang nasa hospital ako ng mga anak. Yung doktor din nagtanong sa nurse, does she speak English? So parang okay lang. Pero kasi ang ayoko dun sa dentista or dun sa hygienist, yung parang sinabi niya, she speak English. Diba? Yun yung pangit dun eh. Na parang, yes, you can assume na she don't speak English because she looks different. Pero yun nga, yung parang, yung pagganyan niya, yun yung nakakabisit. Are you guys ready? Okay, so, gagawin na namin yung project. So, we can actually do it at home. Kukunin lang namin yung kit as iuwi. Pero mas madalas na we do it in the store. So, but today, we're gonna do it here. And, naputol yung sinasabi ko kanina kasi nga nalobat. Pero, I guess I just want to share kasi gusto kong ng sama ng loob. Pangalawa, parang my thoughts, I just want to share my thoughts. Dito sa Amerika, malaki yung issue ng racism, but in my experience, there are very few people na racist. Mas maraming ang nice na Americans. Most Americans are open-minded that their country is multicultural. Okay, alam nila na there's a lot of foreigners in here, but I guess when it happened, talagang nakaka-off, nakakasama ng loob. And bilang foreigner naman, bilang ikaw yung parang isa sa mga minority, ayun nga, hindi mo maiwasan, pero ako iniiwasan kong isipin kasi, well, unang-una kasi nga, you can have a bad interaction with any people Kahit kababayan mo yan, di ba? They can be like a very mean person whether you're foreigner or not. So, I don't always take it as they are racist. Kahit na minsan may mga negative na interaction tayo sa mga tao. It's not always about your race. Talagang minsan, masama lang talaga yung ugali ng ibang tao. So, in this case, I'm still not sure. But I'm just saying na yung initial thought ko is parang racist siya sa akin. But, who knows? Alright, let's do this. At I have nothing bad to say sa mga company kasi I'm very thankful sa Lowe's and Home Depot for giving us this.
This wasn't allowed.
No, it's not that you're not allowed. They didn't have extra. That's why we go to the other one, remember? And that store, they have extra. So now we have one. Okay, what's the first step? And Lucas is actually excited for this because this project is a tractor. Nandito tayo sa taas. Sa aking trabahuhan, mag-work muna ako habang tulog si Andrew. Natapos ko na rin ang aking mga gawaing bahay. So, ang gagawin natin, friends, ang gusto kong gawin ay ito, yung nasa gitna, tatanggalin ko na yung parang storage ng mga reading glasses. 2 level yan Babawasan ko lang kasi gusto ko ng mas malawak na space dito para kapag may dumating na lumabas na ang aking baby, pag lumabas na ang aking baby, pwede sila dito maglaro habang binabantayan ko ang baby, pwede pa din ako mag-work. So ito, dyan pa din ako mag-work. Okay, pero meron na akong mas malaking space para sa mga bata, para makapag-multitask. Ito, nakita niyo yung mga reading glasses na yan. Dito yan nakastore, yung mga boxes na yan, tsaka yung mga lalagyan ng glasses, yan. Konti na lang naman, so I'm making space na din. So lahat ng yan, ililipat ko sa ganitong lalagyan, kasi ito yung ilalagay natin, ililipat natin sa labas. Okay? So, yun ang aking gagawin. My name?
Yeah, that's why you do both.
What is this, Lucas?
It's Velcro.
Where are you gonna put it?
Here. See?
Why? So it will stick there?
Mm-hmm.
But you already have this. So that it's not gonna roll. Nilagay niya ng Velcro yung pencil. Okay, I'll put my name here. Andrew. Round, round, round. Ayun, nagising si Andrew. Saglit lang siya nagnap, parang 30 minutes lang. So, hindi ako nakarami ng trabaho kanina sa taas. Pero okay lang. Bukas na lang ako babawi kasi walang pasok ang aking asawa. So, bukas sana matapos ko yun. Yung aking gustong linisin dun sa taas. So, ngayon nag-aaral muna kami. Tapos magluluto naman ako ng dinner.
Spell what?
Spell cash. Cash.
Ah. Cat. Or fat.
Okay, next. Shin. Shin.
Shin. Shin.
See?
Shin.
Correct. Crash. Crash.
How?
Crash.
Ah. I get it how you do it.
Crash.
It's a train.
Okay, ready, Lucas?
Then mommy, how do I spell crunch?
No. Chat.
Ah, ah, ah. Chat.
Easy? Why is it too easy for you? Okay, next.
Chat. Chin. Chin. Chin.
Look, what's that sound?
Ah. No.
Oh no. No. Shaw. Okay. Now you read it so you can tell me if you're right or wrong. Okay, you read this.
Chat.
This is
Chin.
chin. So
Chin.
it's correct.
Correct.
Next.
Chat.
Chat. Correct.
Fetch.
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 There's a missing sound. So it's F-E. Fet. Fetch. Fetch.
But I did it correct.
No, you're missing letter T.
Stop.
So you got 5 over
6.
6. Thank you, Kuya Lucas. So I also cook spinach while Lucas is cooking that.
I'm done, mommy. Done.
Alright, thank you. You want that? Give me the bowl for me.
Okay, then give it. Then
Give another bowl.
you only got one shot. Mommy.
Andrew missed. Mommy turn.
Yay!
I missed also. Tapos na kami mag-dinner.
Tapos mo na ng dinner.
Tapos nagsusumbong ako sa aking asawa. Would you say it's racist?
Not necessarily.
But you see, everybody.
Maybe. Could be, but not. I wouldn't jump to that.
Yeah, I was telling my viewers that that's my instant feeling. You know.
She said you get some at the end, right?
No, but I have to go to the other
No, but
other branch.
no, but she said, oh, you can wait till the end.
Yeah, for 2 hours. But I guess
Yeah.
it has something to do with how how she said it to me. That's why it's so offensive and like disrespectful to me.
She doesn't want to do her job because then she has to take pictures of them.
Yeah. She just don't like her job.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have enough evidence to say that she's racist.
Yeah. And
That's true. So that's true. I shouldn't say it's racist.
it's possible, but
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
how I feel. It's like because I look very sweet and very not aggressive personality, right?
I guess. I
So
don't know.
just think about it. Like if I'm white or black, would she treat me like that too?
Possibly.
She would be in trouble.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, because it's so rude. Like a lot of Americans will not
It
let.
depends. You sign up. Gotta
But
sign
I've
up.
seen people
I know,
before.
it doesn't matter.
I've
doesn't
seen
matter, you
people
gotta sign
walk
up.
in.
She can do what she wants. She's the boss. Right? Maybe she that's all the power she has in her life, right? To
Yeah,
hand out toys or deny people who didn't sign up.
yeah, I
You
guess.
can say, look at my verification email.
I kind of feel better talking to my husband about it. I guess
he's right. I should not jump into the conclusion that that lady is racist. There's a possibility, but how about this? When I tell them the story about, do you remember? I think with Andrew or Lucas, I'm not sure which delivery was that, but they're gonna give me epidural, and then the doctor said, "Does she speak English?" Right?
Yeah.
So that way, I was not offended or anything. But before that, I have the experience with the dentist. I think hygienist, she saw me and she's like, she speak English. She didn't know that I can hear her. Like just the way she said it, like, she speak English, talking to another person. So that, I feel like that's racist, right?
That's kind of like, I have to do my job and she can't, like, I can't communicate with her. So, like, my job, I'm going to do the scan, give them contrast, and it's going to make them feel like they peed their pants. Right? And so if I can't talk to them, I can't tell them anything, right?
Yeah.
Get them to do stuff and, move here, put their arms up, I'm going to do stuff. And
So
it's like,
it's frustrating.
not really, not for me, I don't care.
No, but for for other people.
For some people, it can be. Be like, oh, God. How am I going to do this? Like, because some people, how do I say it? They're not very capable, are helpless, right?
Yeah.
Some people are helpless. Oh, she can't speak. How am I going to have to do this?
They're just not
I'm so
patient.
bad at my job.
They're just not patient.
Or not creative.
Okay, in short, I think racism is a very difficult topic to talk about. You know, like it's hard to say if a person is racist. Like all these examples that I have experienced so far is questionable. So I won't say that I actually have experienced people racist towards me so far. Yeah. It's really complicated in America. Very big issue and it's so complicated. That's
Andrew, don't
my
touch TV.
story for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching Messy Life. Bye. Happy selling.
I'm sorry. And
Bye.
don't be. Bye.
Ano?